My family dragged me to a cheap buffet and gave me a cruel birthday card, so I finally showed them who controlled their hidden expenses, and what happened next left them broken. My name is Alex, and I am 29 years old. If you asked anyone in my family to describe me, they would likely call me the quiet one, or worse, the one who never quite figured it out. I have always been low maintenance, never asking for much. I was not the golden child. That title belonged to my older brother Nathan, who followed our father into finance, or my younger sister, Rachel, who lives a Pinterest-perfect life as a professional social butterfly. I went my own way, building a quiet career in software with mostly remote work and decent pay. I never bragged about it. I liked living under the radar. What I did not realize was that my family did not just ignore me. They saw me as some kind of joke. It started the way it always does. My mother sent a text in the family group chat, "Birthday dinner for Alex this Friday. Any suggestions?" That part was fine. I even felt a little hopeful. Maybe this year would be different. Maybe they would remember I do not eat meat, or that I had mentioned a new place downtown. But then the replies came. Nathan wrote, "Let's not go fancy. Save the good places for real accomplishments." Rachel chimed in with, "LOL, true." My mother reacted to both messages with a thumbs-up emoji. No one asked what I wanted. No one asked if I had plans. Just like every year, they made the decision, and I went along with it. Friday arrived. I showed up at a sad little buffet with dim lighting and sticky tables, the kind of place where the sneeze guard is older than most of the staff. Everyone was already seated, halfway through their plates. There were no decorations, no cake, just a half-hearted, "Hey birthday boy," from my Uncle Frank between bites of lukewarm mac and cheese. I smiled, nodded, sat down, and tried not to take it personally. I have grown used to fading into the background. Then came the card. It was in a plain white envelope with no handwriting on the front. Inside was a generic happy birthday message, printed in cursive. Someone had scribbled in blue pen underneath, "Maybe next year you'll do something worth celebrating." I stared at it. For a second, I thought it was a joke, but the way Nathan laughed, the way Rachel sipped her soda and said, "Just a little motivation," and the way my mother smiled like it was all so clever, it was not a joke. It was how they really saw me, the one who never measured up. I did not say anything. I smiled, pulled out my phone, and took a quick photo of the card on the table, cheap buffet plates in the background, my family mid-laugh. Then I stood up, placed the card back down, and said, "Thanks for dinner." No sarcasm, no anger, just calm. I walked out before anyone could reply. The silence that followed was probably the loudest moment of the night. No one came after me. No one texted. I sat in my car, the photo still on my phone screen, and stared at it for a long time. Something in me shifted that night. I was not angry, not really. I was done. Done being the silent one. Done being their scapegoat for every unspoken tension in the family. For the last 3 years, I had been building something they did not know about. Freelance. Contracts, licensing deals, a quiet side project that had taken off behind the scenes. I had not told them because I did not need their validation. But now I realized I did not want their presence either. 3 days later, the group chat lit up like a Christmas tree. Rachel started it, "Did anyone else just lose access to Netflix?" Then Nathan, HBO, and Spotify, "What is going on?" My mother followed with, "I can't open the Dropbox link for the family photos anymore." Finally, my father, who rarely texted, chimed in. The Wi-Fi went out. "Alex, can you check the account?" I did not reply, not yet. I wanted them to stew a little. They did not know that every streaming service, every cloud account, every utility bill had been running through my name since 2020. Back when my father got laid off, I quietly offered to help while they got back on their feet. I never brought it up. I never asked for thanks. But I kept the receipts. What really lit the fire under them was not the Netflix or the power bill. It was the text I sent that night. One message, one photo, the same photo I took at the buffet. No caption, just the image. It was enough. Nathan replied first, "Seriously, grow up, Alex." Then my mother, "Are you really doing this over a birthday card?" Rachel added, "It was a joke. You're being so dramatic." I did not answer. I went offline completely, blocked the group chat, muted their numbers, and went about my day. But that silence did not last long. What they had not realized yet, what would hit them like a brick the next morning, was that I had not just cut off their creature comforts. I pulled the plug on something else entirely. By Wednesday morning, I woke up to over 30 missed calls. My phone vibrated non-stop like it had a personal vendetta. I did not answer any of them, but I skimmed the voicemails, each more frantic than the last. My mother, "Alex, Honey, call me back. Your father is trying to get in touch with the bank, and nothing's going through. Nathan, hey man, I'm not trying to fight, but we're trying to log into the share drive for the tax stuff. Where is everything? My father, Alex, this is serious. The mortgage payment bounced. Dad says your name is still on the account. What is going on? That last one made me pause. They finally realized what they had let slip through their fingers. 3 years ago, when things were not going well for the family, when my father got laid off, when Rachel had to drop out of grad school for a semester, when Nathan lost a chunk of his savings on a bad crypto scheme, I stepped up. I had just landed a major freelance contract with a startup that exploded shortly after. I did not make a fuss. I did not demand attention. I just offered to help. I let the bills get rerouted through my accounts, took on the mortgage to save them from default, added everyone to my family plan, covered subscriptions, cloud storage, even the security system. Not because they asked, but because I thought that's what family did. Not once did anyone say thank you. They treated it like a favor I owed them. The moment I removed myself from that invisible scaffolding, their whole structure started to collapse. The truth is, I did not do it to hurt them. I did it to protect myself. But the pain that came as a side effect? Rachel was the first to switch tactics. She sent a long, guilt-soaked voice note about how we had all made mistakes, how she did not mean anything by the card, and how maybe it was time we all sat down and talked like adults. She even threw in a casual, "I'm really proud of you, by the way," like it was something she forgot to say for the past 5 years. Then my mother texted again, short and clipped. "You're punishing your entire family over a misunderstanding. This is not how adults behave." That one stung, not because I believed it, but because it was so familiar. It was her default whenever someone did not play along with the family script. Minimize the offense, shift the blame, paint the reaction as irrational. So I broke my silence with a single reply. "I'm not punishing anyone. I'm just done being invisible until you need something. You all made your feelings clear. Now I'm making mine." No one replied for a full day. Then came Nathan, not a text, not a voicemail, but in person. I was in my apartment, small, quiet, mine. I had not told them I moved 6 months ago, mostly because I did not think anyone would care. But I guess he still had the old address from when I helped him set up a tax form. I heard the buzzer, ignored it, then knocking, then louder knocking. Eventually I opened the door, and there he was, my golden boy brother, dressed like he came from work, holding a six-pack of whatever he assumed I still drank. "Can we talk?" he asked. I leaned against the door frame. "You're here now. Go ahead." He sighed, shifted his weight awkwardly. "Look, that dinner wasn't meant to be some attack. It was a joke. We all joke around. You never speak up. So how are we supposed to know when something actually bothers you?" That was the moment I realized he did not get it. None of them did. They had built a reality where my silence was interpreted as weakness, where my absence of complaint was seen as agreement. You're not supposed to treat someone like garbage and then say, "Well, you didn't say anything." "That's not how decency works," I said. He looked surprised, like the idea had never occurred to him. "Okay, fair. So what do you want?" I let the question hang in the air. What did I want? An apology? No, not really. I would not believe it if it came now. Respect maybe, but respect that had to be forced was not real either. What I wanted was distance, freedom, a life not tethered to people who only remembered my name when a bill was due. So I said, "I don't want anything. That's the point." Nathan's expression shifted from confusion to something like contempt. "You're seriously just going to ghost your whole family over a birthday card?" I looked him in the eye. "No, I'm finally holding you accountable for 3 years of taking me for granted. That card was just the receipt." He stood there for a second, like he wanted to say something else. Then he left the six-pack on the ground and walked away. I did not pick it up. That night I sat on my couch, finally at peace, not because I had gotten revenge, not because I had made them suffer, but because for once I had chosen myself. I did not owe anyone anything anymore, not explanations, not money, not silence. But the fallout was just beginning. The next morning, I noticed a voicemail from my father. He rarely called me directly. He was more of a group text and silent nods kind of man. His voice was gruff but unusually calm, though I could hear the frustration simmering beneath it. "Alex, your mother's upset. Your sister's in tears. You've made your point. Now be a man and fix this. Family isn't something you quit when it's inconvenient." I listened to it twice. That line, "Be a man and fix this," clanged around in my skull like a warning bell. It was not a plea, not a negotiation, but a command, the same one I had grown up with. dressed up in concern but rooted in control. That's how it always was with my father. He did not yell, he did not hit, but he knew how to remind you who paid the bills, even when he was not the one doing it. The part that would have made me laugh if it was not so pathetic was that he genuinely believed I still owed him after everything, after covering the mortgage for 3 years, handling my mother's overdue hospital bills when her insurance lapsed, paying off Rachel's busted credit card after she accidentally used the wrong one. I had receipts for everything. I had been the family's backbone, and they only realized it when I stepped away. Later that day, my mother sent a Facebook message. She had never used it for anything more than cat videos and reposting church event flyers, so I knew it was intentional. The message was short, clipped, like she was trying to hold on to the last bit of moral high ground she had left. We're struggling. I don't know what you're trying to prove, but it's not too late to make things right. Your father says we could still refinance with your name on the paperwork. If we miss another payment, we could lose the house. Please think about your family. That house, the one I grew up in, the one they remodeled with money they did not have while I was living in a shoebox apartment fresh out of college. The one I kept afloat when my father's pride would not let him admit. We were drowning, had never felt like mine, even when I paid for it. And now they wanted me to come back and save it again. I did not reply. Instead, I started gathering documents, not because I was going to help them, but because I wanted to protect myself. You see, I had never officially signed over financial responsibility, the utilities, the streaming services, even the loan I co-signed for Rachel. Short-lived bakery dream, they were all still legally linked to me. If they defaulted, I would take the hit. That's what scared me the most. Not their manipulation, not their entitlement, but how quietly and completely they had woven their lives into mine without giving me any voice. So I made calls. I canceled the cosign, contacted the electric company, and formally removed myself from the accounts. I locked down my credit profile and froze every account that was not solely mine. I was not just walking away anymore. I was shutting the door behind me. It took 2 days, and when the dust settled, I got one final message that stopped me cold. It was from my grandmother. She was the only person in the family who ever treated me like I mattered just because I was me. She used to sneak me chocolate when I got grounded for talking back. She never forgot a single birthday, even if it was just a card with a hand-drawn doodle and the words, "I love you always." Her text hit differently. I heard what happened. "I wish they saw you the way I do. I don't blame you, Alex, but I do miss you. Please don't let their foolishness harden your heart too much. You're a good man. Don't forget that." I sat with that one for a long time. The next day, I drove out to her place, bringing her favorite cinnamon rolls and some tulips. We sat on the porch in silence for a while before she said anything. "They don't deserve you," she muttered, sipping her tea. "But they'll come crawling soon. Pride always bows to desperation eventually." She was not wrong. The next day, after I officially cut off the emergency credit line they had been using behind my back, I got another knock at my door. This time it was not Nathan, it was Rachel. She looked different, not her usual polished self, no makeup, puffy eyes, hoodie, and leggings, holding a plastic grocery bag like it was a peace offering. "I brought food," she said, her voice scratchy. "I just want to talk. Please." I did not move at first. I kept my hand on the doorframe, studying her like I did not know her, because in a lot of ways, I did not really. But something in her face, genuine or maybe just really good desperation, made me step aside. She walked in, placed the bag on the kitchen counter, and looked around like she had not expected to get this far. "Alex, we messed up. Okay, we really messed up." I did not say anything, just watched her. She looked down. "I'm not going to pretend we didn't say awful things." I laughed at the card. "I said things I can't take back. I've been selfish, but I didn't know how much you were carrying for all of us. I didn't know because I didn't want to know. It was easier to believe you were just the quiet one with nothing going on." She looked up, her eyes glassy. "But you were the one holding everything together. And now it's all falling apart." The room fell quiet. She was right. It was falling apart, and I could feel the moment coming, the one where she would ask me to fix it. But I was not the same person who sat quietly at that buffet table last week. I looked at Rachel for a long time before answering. She fidgeted under my silence, chewing her bottom lip like she was bracing for a punch that had not landed yet. "I didn't come here to beg," she said quietly, as if to preempt the accusation. "I just thought maybe if you understood where we were coming from, you'd reconsider." "Where you were coming from?" I asked. "That I'm not worth celebrating until I do something that fits your idea of success? That I'm the guy you all remember when a bill comes due or the Wi-Fi goes out?" She winced. I know it was awful. But we thought you were fine with it. You never pushed back. You never told us anything. You just helped. Like it didn't matter. I finally sat down. My voice was level, but I could feel the pressure behind it. Years of unspoken words fighting their way out. You know what's funny? I said. I used to think it didn't matter either. I used to think it was just easier to say nothing, to play my part. Let Nathan have his trophies. Let you have your spotlight. Let Mom and Dad pretend I was just drifting through life with no ambition. I never cared about recognition. But you know what finally hit me? It wasn't that I didn't matter. It was that you all agreed I didn't, and you were comfortable with that. She sat down across from me, her shoulders hunched like she was trying to shrink under the weight of it all. I guess we thought you liked being in the background, she said weakly. Like you were just different. No, I replied. I was made the background. Every time I did something worthwhile, it was brushed aside or rebranded as luck. Every quiet success got drowned out by one of Nathan's promotions or your next big trip. I was the emotional support wall. And when you all built your house on me, you never once looked down to see who was holding it up. I stood and walked to the counter, picking up the bag she brought. Inside was takeout from my favorite Thai place, which I had mentioned offhand in a text over a year ago. It was the first time anyone in the family had remembered something so specific about me. I appreciate this, I said, setting the bag back down. But a bag of curry doesn't fix years of being treated like I don't count. I know, she said quickly. I know it doesn't. But it's not supposed to fix anything. It's just a start. I sighed and ran a hand through my hair. Do you remember when I helped you with your bakery? I asked. Her eyes flickered. Yeah. Do you know how many loans I had to defer to front that $15,000? She swallowed hard. No, I didn't. Of course you didn't, I said. Because you never asked. No one ever did. She looked at me with something like shame, but also, maybe for the first time, real understanding. You want me to come back? I said. To the group chat, to the bills, to the support system you all relied on? But you never once asked me how I was doing. You never once treated me like someone who had his own life, his own responsibilities, his own goals. You wanted the version of me that says yes and smiles while you laugh in my face. I don't, she said quickly. I swear I don't. I want this version, the one who finally tells us the truth. For a moment I believed her, but that was not enough anymore. I'm not coming back, I said quietly. Her eyes widened. Alex, I'm done being your safety net. I've cut off every shared service, removed my name from everything. You'll have to figure out your own bills, rebuild your own credit. I'm not doing it for you. She looked like she wanted to argue but could not. I don't hate you, I continued. I'm not doing this to punish you, but I'm not going to let you keep using me either. I deserve more than pity and guilt-tripped loyalty. I deserve respect. I respect you, she whispered. Then let me go, I said. Respect me enough to let me walk away. Tears welled in her eyes, but she nodded slowly. Will you ever come back? She asked. I shook my head. Not until I'm treated like someone you actually want in your life, not just someone you need. She stood, her hands shaking as she picked up the bag of food. She held it out to me. Keep it, she said. Even if you don't want to see us again, just eat something, please. I took it. That was the only thing I accepted. When she left, I locked the door behind her, and for the first time in years, I felt something lift off my shoulders. The silence in the apartment was no longer hollow. It was peaceful. I spent the next few weeks in near complete solitude. No group chats. No frantic calls, no obligations pulling me in every direction but my own. I used the time to build my life, something just for me. I accepted a new remote contract with a tech firm in Sweden, paid off the last of my deferred loans, and even booked a solo trip to Kyoto, something I had wanted to do since college. It took them a while to realize I was not bluffing. Nathan sent one last message. You've made your point, but don't forget who helped you get where you are. I did not reply. I just screenshotted the message and archived it in a folder I now called Noise. My mother sent a birthday card the following year. No jokes, just a simple handwritten note. I'm sorry. I miss you. Love, Mom. I did not respond to that either. Not out of bitterness, but because I had learned something vital. You can forgive people without giving them access to hurt you again. 6 months later, I got a letter in the mail from my grandmother. Inside was a small square photograph of the two of us on her porch, tulips in her lap, cinnamon roll in hand. She had written on the back in her wobbly handwriting, "They're learning slowly, but you don't owe them your peace. Keep going, I'm proud of you." That one I framed. Now I live in a sunlit apartment in Stockholm, I work with a brilliant small team and walk to a nearby lake every morning with my coffee. I have started painting again. I still do not make noise about my success. I do not post humble brags or drop subtle hints in group chats because I no longer need them to see me to feel seen.